Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and if you would, please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Some of you coming to the meeting may have noticed outside tonight that there was a unity rally called by the NAACP in conjunction with the City of Norwalk and the Norwalk Police Department. And at that rally, we mourn the loss of life that has been occurring over the past couple of weeks in a city, or in the country. Not only the past couple of weeks, but the past year and a half, past 2 years, we've had incidents that tear at the very fabric of our society, and that tends to make people identify us as we are not. This is not who we are in this country, and we have agreed that we will do everything we possibly can within our power to not only speak the words, but to take action that back up the words that we speak. So in that vein, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for the following as well as their families. Philando Castillo, Minnesota. Alton Sterling, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Dallas police officers Lauren Ahern, Michael Kroll, Michael J. Smith, Brent Thompson, and Patrick Zamaripa. Thank you. Clerk, if you please call the roll and please read the prepared announcement.
July 12, 2016. Please be advised this meeting is being taped for video and audio broadcast. Assisted listening devices are available. Mr. Bonifant.
Here.
Mr. Corsello.
Here.
Mr. Hempstead.
Here.
Mr. Kimmel.
Here. Here.
Mr. Sachinelli.
Here.
Ms. Melendez.
Here.
Mr. Sarasis.
Present.
Ms. Bowman.
Here.
Mr. Sims.
Present.
Mr. Kites.
Here.
Ms. Maggio. Mr. De Palma. Ms. O'Toole-Gianderco.
Here.
Mr. Igneri.
Here.
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
13 present.
13 present, we have a quorum. Now, item number 2, acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 28, 2016. Do I have a motion?
So.
Mr. Sims, do we have any corrections, deletions, additions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So carries. Public participation, Ms. King.
David Westmoreland.
Good evening. My name is David Westmoreland. I'd like to speak to item 4A, reappointments, the reappointment of Francis DiMiglio to the Planning Commission. I've worked with Fran for many years now in my role as chair of the Historical Commission and hers on the Planning Commission, and she has always been completely professional, constructive, and supportive in everything she does. And beyond that, just knowing Fran personally, she's just a supporter of all things good for Norwalk. So I urge you to support that reappointment. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the only person who is signed to address the council. With any other person wish to come forward and address the council? Seeing none, I will close the public participation. Next item on the agenda, resignations and appointments. We have one appointment tonight, and at the next council meeting, we will have several others to fill. We'll be working with the leadership of the council.
So if you have people that you wish to have considered for some of the different items, you may take a look at the open boards or commissions and submit names for consideration. The item on the agenda tonight is a reappointment of Francis DeMiglio for Planning Commission. Do I have a motion? Mr. Kites.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to put forward the name Francis DeMiglio for the Planning Commission. Fran has done a great job already on the Planning Commission. Everyone speaks so highly of her, and it's an honor to have you back, and thank you for serving.
Further discussion. Mr. Hempstead.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to compliment the mayor first for this reappointment. I know you a long time, Fran. I know you from the days even with the Chamber of Commerce involved, and she's all about Norwalk, always has been about Norwalk. She's always been very thoughtful with her deliberation on anything that's come before them, and I think it's a great choice, and I'm glad to see some improvements on that commission.
Thank you. Further discussion. Ms. O'Toole Jane Durko.
I too have known Fran for many years, and thank you very much for your willingness to continue to serve.
Further discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? So carries. Congratulations. You want to step down? We'll issue the oath of office.
Thank you all.
You, Francis DeMiglio, having been reappointed as a member of the Planning Commission of the City of Norwalk, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office according to your best skill and judgment, so help you God, or upon the pains and penalties of perjury. Fran, if you'll sign, and then you can take one of these and I'll take the other. Okay, the second one.
That's yours to keep.
Oh, let me sign it for you. Yep.
And again, thank you to all the people who continue to serve. It's very difficult sometimes to find people willing to serve the boards and commissions, but I want to take the opportunity to thank the people that have come forward and have submitted their names and their resumes for their willingness to serve. When I was, now the next item on the agenda is Mayor's remarks. When I asked for a moment of silence, I was remiss in not recognizing the fact that Peter Thor, a longtime member of the Democratic Party, a longtime union advocate, a longtime champion of those for those who who don't have a voice, he fights for the people that are downtrodden, and he fought very hard to make sure that we have fair wages for our workers, good benefits for our workers, and he also served the City of Norwalk in the Democratic Town Committee for many, many years. And I would also now ask for just a moment of silence in honor of Peter Thor, who passed away Saturday evening. Thank you. Other announcements. Tomorrow's July 13th. If you haven't seen it yet, or if you've driven down West Avenue, you certainly have seen it. The unveiling of the NEA Norwalk Gateway Art Project, the gold vines that are adorning the wall along the West Avenue corridor. That was a redevelopment agency project. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., we're going to gather at the Lockwood Matthews Mansion and have the official unveiling, although it's been unveiled for a few days now, so we're just... On Thursday, July 14th, from 1 to 3 p.m. at Norwalk City Hall, Laurel Peterson, Norwalk's first poet laureate, will lead an, okay, Donna, ekphrastic poetry workshop.
You got it.
Okay. Inspired by the art exhibition To the Lighthouse, Plein Air Artists on Sheffield Island, opening shortly in the Mayor's Gallery. Ekphrastic poetry is poetry written in response to an artwork where the author comments on or interacts with the action of the work or connects the art with some aspect of his or her life. The public is invited. That's Thursday, July 14th from 1 to 3. Is that going to be in the Mayor's Gallery?
Dave, that's what it says.
Okay. Just a reminder, every Saturday, my wife Lucia and I invite you to walk with us. This Saturday, July 16th, we will walk a West Norwalk route beginning at Fox Run School. It's 3 miles. Bring your water bottles. It's always a wonderful opportunity to walk around Norwalk and look at different trails and different walking routes in different parts of Norwalk, different neighborhoods that you probably haven't had an opportunity to see, or if you did see them, you were probably driving your car and paying attention to the road and not looking, being able to appreciate the beauty of our community. We've walked in South Norwalk, we've walked in the center of Norwalk, we've walked in Silvermine, we've walked in Cranberry, we've walked in West Norwalk, we've walked in Rowayton. We've hit probably many of the trails. We've been doing this since last June, and it's a wonderful opportunity. We've had as many as 35 people come out and walk with us, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're looking for a little exercise and an excuse to engage in Norwalk's history at times, we've walked Golden Hill, by the way, you might want to come out. Monday, 7/18, our tax collector will hold its biannual tax sale. Process begins at 3 p.m. in the community room. We're very pleased to announce that when the tax sale was announced, many of those property owners came forward and paid their taxes, and as a result, we've collected approximately $3 million in taxes that were unpaid, and we only have, I think, approximately 29 perhaps properties that remain unpaid. So kudos to our tax collector, Lisa Mazzarelli. She does an amazing job. Other communities hire tax firms to do this, and they charge a significant amount. We don't get charged because Lisa and her team do it, so it's really, really great. Norwalk's Arts Commission announces a new show at the Mayor's Gallery titled, here it is, titled The Lighthouse Plein Air Artists on Sheffield Island. An opening celebration will take place on Tuesday, July 19th. I will host that from 6 until 6:30. Everyone in the community is invited. It's a lot of fun to look at some of the local artists' work, and we serve light refreshments. This Saturday, a new farmers market will open in Sono. It's called the Food Access Coalition Program. Food Access for Families currently runs 3 other farmers markets in Norwalk. And we had a meeting today, right? Mm-hmm. Today, meetings are so crazy. Sometimes you lose sight of when they were. We had a meeting today with Lindy Troy, who was organizing this, and it was their desire to bring a farmer's market to an area where more people who might not normally have access to the farmer's market to be able to have access. And they work with the WIC program and a SNAP program, veterans, senior citizens. So if you have a voucher from WIC or SNAP to get $6 worth of groceries, they'll give you 12 at no extra cost. Or if you have a voucher for $6, they'll charge you 3, and you can get $6 worth of groceries for 3. This is for veterans, for seniors, for people on various food subsidy programs, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. There are 4 markets. The other 4 markets also accept those coupons, and senior veterans and MD scripts, they call them. This will double your purchasing power. They are all offer fresh fruit and vegetables, Connecticut grown.
Did you say 50 Washington?
It's at 50 Washington Street, I'm sorry. The Norwalk Arts Commission and our Economic Development Director are rolling out a new mobile app, mobile audio guide, free app. It's called AutoCast. This project began in April with a bus tour offered to area hotel managers. The brochures will be distributed to area hotels and at information booths at entry tourist stops and our major highways. When completed, there will be 5 different tours to see, hear, and explore Norwalk. Again, that's our desire to market Norwalk and show what a wonderful community we have and invite people from all over the area to come in and have recreation, enjoy our restaurants, and spend their money. And last but not least, I don't know if there's still time, but Saturday night, July 16th, is Norwalk Day at the Bluefish Stadium. I believe we have, Irene, what's the last count? 55 people who have purchased tickets at a cost of $11 apiece. It's really, really fun because there's a lot of interaction between the Bluefish team, the Bluefish organization, and the participants, the fans, throwing things up. You know, you might catch a baseball, you might get a free T-shirt or a hat. Sometimes kids are able to go out on the field and have a lot of fun, and you'll get a chance to come and poke fun at me. I'm going to be throwing out the first pitch, as I did in the past 2 years. Again, we mentioned that last council meeting, and Mr. Kimmel took issue with the fact that I said I threw a strike, but nevertheless I did, and I plan on throwing another strike this year. So having said that, Mr. Kimmel, the floor is yours.
Pardon me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I'm very happy to announce that the Thursday night concert series I started with Recreation and Parks last year begins this Thursday at 7 o'clock at Matthews Mansion, and every Thursday throughout the summer. This week is Winter's Heat, which is guys that grew up in Norwalk, and they play the best of Led Zeppelin. And on Friday night, the final show of the Hello Summer concert series that I set up with the library and Michael F. Descala and company, head of the Harbor. The last show is 7 o'clock Friday night, and that's with Reggae Culture, and it's going to be, they're always a great reggae party, brings a lot of people out, and it's a great way to say hello summer.
And thank you for what you do. I know it's a lot of hard work, and they're always well attended. And I know you're very, very happy about the fence over at
Absolutely.
I know
whined
you're happy
enough,
about
didn't I?
And last but not least, you mentioned concerts. I think tomorrow night is the next concert at Cap Pasture Beach.
Yep.
I believe it's Tim Curry again, if I'm right.
And actually tonight and every Tuesday
Car
throughout the
show.
summer is open mic night at Freeze Park
Oh, okay, good.
from 7 to 10.
Now, Mr. Kimmel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I won't comment on the mayor's baseball abilities, but please come out. It's a lot of fun. It really is. I think there's still some tickets left. Excuse me. I'd like to announce that we are canceling the second council meeting in July, the 26th. We generally give ourselves a little bit of break in the middle of the summer. And if you don't know, per the charter, we do have to meet on the first Tuesday of the month. We can never take that day off. So the 26th, we're going to skip that meeting. Our next meeting will be the second Tuesday, the second Tuesday in August. Anyway, now to get to council business. Back to the charter. After some discussion with legal counsel, we decided we need to look at the questions again and to be very careful with the wording. This is an extremely important, wording is extremely important on this kind of stuff, and we wanted to get it right. So we gave ourselves an additional 2 weeks to think things over. And what we have in front of us now is our two items. The first, the motion to reconsider, and the second is the 4 charter questions as they appeared 2 weeks ago on the agenda. So on first, number 1, under general council business, approval of motion to reconsider the charter questions for 2016 ballot. Is there a motion to reconsider?
Make the motion.
Okay, Mr. Livingston has made the motion to reconsider. Is there any discussion?
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't thank Councilman Bonifant, who brought this issue and brought it up to all of our attention. And but for him, we wouldn't be doing this. And I think this is in the best interest of putting this issue before the voters.
I agree.
Thank you, Mr. Corsello. Through the chair.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Mr. Corsello. Perhaps I made a mistake not bringing it up too soon. Should have waited till October and really jammed it.
Okay, but that's true. Words have different meanings to different people, and we wanted to get this right. So we spent another 2 weeks discussing it and thinking about it, and we are going to vote again. So what we have, Mr. Livingston has a motion to reconsider. Is there any more discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of the motion to reconsider, which requires just a simple majority, please raise their hand. Okay, I think the motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Okay, item 2. Now, before I begin, remember, this is purely, these items pertain to language, the language of the questions. These issues will be on the ballot one way or the other. That's already been decided a month or so ago. So Number 2, approval of charter questions for 2016 ballot. A, shall the term of the mayor and town clerk be changed from 2 to 4 years? B, shall the offices of city treasurer, city sheriff, and selectmen be eliminated? C, shall the annual salary of each common council member be set at 2% of the base salary of the mayor? D, shall the charter references to members of the common council be gender neutral? I'd like to move all of those items as a package. Is there any discussion or amendments? Ms. Melendez?
Councilman Kimmel, thank you. I'd like to make an amendment to 2B and have it read, shall the offices of city treasurer, city sheriff, and selectmen be eliminated from the charter?
Okay, so Ms. Melendez has offered amendment to add 3 words from the charter to the second question, B. Any discussion of the amendment? Seeing none, I will ask for hands. All those in favor of Ms. Melendez's amendment, please raise their hand. Okay, thank you. Now we go back to the original motion. Excuse me? Oh, was it up? I looked over there. I did not see it. My apologies. Thank you. Mr. Hempstead.
How could you miss me? That's a good sign. No. For the record, rather than put us through, and I don't think there's any reason to even have a discussion, figuring it would go 10 to 4, 10 to 3, or whatever, how it would go, I'm not going to make a motion to separate this evening. It is my belief, I think it would be preferred methodology for voting on these particular items. But I just wanted to get it out there, that so I will not be supporting the 4 as is, knowing full well in advance that there's no way the motion to separate would have ever survived. So I'm just saying, it's 2 particular issues that not changed.
Okay, the 4 questions, there's a motion. On the floor, we have the 4 questions as amended by Ms. Melendez. Is there any further discussion, further amendments?
Who made the original motion?
Okay, so I am moving that we adopt the 4 questions as amended by Ms. Melendez. Any further discussion? We have a roll call on the motion to adopt the 4 questions as amended.
Mr. Bonifant,
No?
Mr. Corsello,
Yes.
Mr. Hempstead,
No.
Mr. Kimmel,
Yes?
Mr. Sechinelli,
Yes.
Ms. Melendez,
Yes.
Mr. Sarasis,
Abstain.
Ms. Bowman. Yes. Mr. Sims,
Yes.
Mr. Kides,
Yes.
Ms. Maggio is not here. Mr. De Palma, Ms. O'Toole-Jandurko,
No.
Mr. Igneri,
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
9 votes. Motion passes.
9 in favor,
3
1
noes,
abstention, 3 no.
1 abstention.
Okay,
9
okay.
to 1.
The motion passed, 9 to 3 to 1. Thank you very much. This has been a fascinating process for me. From here, these questions will go to the town clerk's office. They will begin discussions with the Secretary of State's office, and hopefully we will see them on the ballot this November. In fact, I'm sure we will. Thanks again, everybody. Okay, the consent calendar. This week is, this meeting is Mr. Kides. Shannon, you're on deck beginning of August. Mr. Kides, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Kimmel. Quite a few items here, so everyone just sit back and
You deserve it after what I went through. After what I went through.
first item, item 5A, authorize to settle a claim, Deanna Parent versus City of Norwalk. Item 6, oh, excuse me, 6A, or no, 5A.
6A.
6A.
Oh, excuse me, 6A.
Or else we'll get the charter
Let's
revision
start.
questions.
All right, item 7A1, Public Works Committee, item number 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute the agreement with Olmsted Tree and Shrub Care Company LLC for the supply and planting of trees and shrubs for the amount not to exceed $78,000 per year. Count numbers noted. Item 7A2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute the First Amendment to the March 18, 2016 agreement with FGB Construction for the project number PM 2016-1 pavement management program for the amount not to exceed $2 million. Account numbers noted. Item 7A3, that is off consents. We're going over to item 7A6, authorize the issuance of a purchase order to WB Mason and Company Incorporated in the amount of $79,762.93 for the Department of Public Works workspace system in accordance with the state Connecticut contract pricing. Noted, count number noted. Item 7A7, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a construction easement with Mohawk Northeast, Inc., allowing temporary use of property situated at the northwest corner of the Burnell Boulevard Bridge for the purpose of construction staging in connection with the tunnel project at Wall Street, Connecticut DOT, project number 102-333. Construction easement shall be extinguished when the construction is completed. See map attached. Item 7A8, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with H.W. Lochner for design and coordination services in connection with the Walk Bridge program. State project number is noted, and this project is 100% state, being reimbursed by the state. Item 7A9, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Tie and Bond Incorporated for a fee not to exceed $15,000 to provide professional engineering services relative to the investigating deficiencies and options for the portion of the Norwalk levee located south of the Perry Avenue Bridge adjacent to the Norwalk River. Account number noted. Item 7B1A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Sound Associates Incorporated for the installation of assisted listening devices equipment at the following municipal buildings: Norwalk City Hall, Norwalk Police Department, and the Norwalk Senior Center, for a total not to exceed $114,474. Account number noted. Item 7.1b, authorize the Department of Human Relations to execute change orders on contract for a total not to exceed $11,447. Item 7B2A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Milan's Expert Renovations LLC for the Mill Hill Town House roof and Yankee gutters replacement project for a total amount not to exceed $65,650. Account number noted. Long. Item 7.2b, authorize the Norwalk Historical Commission to issue change orders on contract for a total not to exceed $12,000. Item 7.3, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Tone Clear Sonics Integrated System Services LLC for the repair and upgrade of intrusion systems at 10 schools for the total not to exceed $60,876, plus a contingency allowance for not to exceed $6,087, total of $66,963. Account number noted. Item 6.4, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Silver Petrucci Associates for on-call architectural design services necessary to provide design support for the Board of Education to finalize the school facilities improvement plan. Total amount for these services shall not be for a total not to exceed $75,000. Funds are available from the FY 2016 to 17 school improvement capital budget account. Item 7.5, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Stepping Stones Museum for Children for the use of 4 classrooms on the first floor of Ben Franklin Center for July 5th, 2016 to August 5th, 2016 to provide a summer camp program. Item 7.6, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with the Odyssey Early Learning and Enrichment Programs for the first and second floors of Nathaniel Ely Center for Childhood Programs from July 1st, 2016 to August 31st, 2018. Utility payments shall be $2.50 square foot per year beginning on September 1st, 2016. 76B, to provide funding Odyssey Learning and enrichment programs through child daycare contract grant and school readiness grant for an educational child daycare services for toddler and preschool-aged children. Item 77, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement with the Growing Seeds CDC for the use of first floor Ben Franklin Center for a full-day child care programs from July 1st, 2016 to August 31st, 2018. Utility payment shall be $2.50 square foot per year beginning on September 1st, 2016. Item 77B, to provide funding to Growing Seeds CDC through the child daycare contract grant for an educational and child daycare services for toddlers and preschool-aged children. Item 78, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement with the Community Development Institute Head Start for the use of the management of the Head Start program at Ben Franklin Center and Nathaniel Ely Center from July 1st, 2016 to August 31st, 2017. Utility payments shall be $2.50 a square foot per year beginning on September 1st, 2016. And that is the consent calendar as.
Very good.
Thank you. I sweated for you guys.
Go hit the vapor.
I'll be right back.
It's been going on for so long. Mr. Kites, you're done. Thank you. Okay, that's the consent calendar. Are there any changes, Mr. Hempstead?
No changes. I don't want to pull anything off. Just want to make a quick comment, if that's okay?
Of course.
Okay. I want to thank the Mayor Rilling and this council and this administration for following up something that was started under the mayor motion. It's the ADA, that we actively got a list under this administration to start putting money into it, the capital accounts. And the past council, the council before this, and this council continues to put funds in this. It's great. We had a lot of deficiencies. Adam, I appreciate that, your diligence with this, but I just wanted to compliment this. Is a great thing, and as some of us who chalk up another year every year, you realize how important a lot of this really is. So, that's all.
I think we all agree. Thank you for those comments, Mr. Hempstead. Okay, Mr. Kites has read the consent calendar. Are there any changes, any deletions on the consent calendar? Okay, all those in favor of the consent calendar as read by Mr. Kites, please raise their hand. Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Kimmel. And thank you, Mr. Kites, for that wonderful rendition.
Very well.
Mr. Igneri, items 7A, 3, 4, and 5.
Mr. Kites did such a great job, I'm going to give it to him to read.
Are you going to make fun of me? I can't get it.
Seriously, item 3, acknowledge the receipt of the application for the abandonment/discontinuance of a portion of Bates Court beginning at the northwesterly boundary of the property located at 1 Bates Court, tax lot 2-53-5-0, and heading south to the southerly terminus as depicted on the map prepared by William W. Seymour and Associates, P.C., entitled Property Survey for Abandonment of a Portion of Bates Court and Acquisitions of Properties from the City of Norwalk, prepared for Metropolitan Realty Associates, LLC, Norwalk, Connecticut, dated August 5th, 2015, at a scale of 1 inch equals 20 feet, on file in the Department of Public Works for a fee of $14,400. And I'd just like to add after that, all we are doing here is acknowledging that we have this application for abandonment. We're not approving the abandonment or anything else.
So, Mr. Igneri, you're moving it?
I move.
Mr. Igneri moves the item. Is there any discussion? Mr. Hempstead? Mr. Bonifant?
Oh, thank you. And I just, actually, Mr. Igneri answered part of the question. I just wanted it to be very clear that we're not transferring land tonight. It's part of a process, and I'm going to speak to like 3, 4, and 5 because they're all related. So instead of saying the same thing 3 times, I'm just going to say it once, because they're part of the same.
We appreciate that.
Thing. Yeah, I bet you do. Right now, we haven't heard back from the departments, including the purchasing agent, whether this is even going to go to bid or not. Often we have these properties that somebody wants, and they actually have to go through a bidding process. So we haven't even heard from a purchasing agent through any 824 review or anything like that, that if we're going to abandon these properties, if they had to go through the bidding process, and we haven't got that opinion yet. So, and also, I think everybody should know that even though you'd never figure it out from reading the backup material, there are actually two separate parcels here. One started off in land use and one was in DPW. One is a sliver of a road, Bates Court, next to Martin Luther King over there, and the other part, even though it has the same lot number, is the land that, through the words of the applicant, they wanted that land to rid the undesirables out of there because there's tents in there and people are sleeping there, and they thought that it would make their project a little better if the land was a little more cleared out there. So, so you wouldn't have figured that out, that there's basically two parcels in here. So during the discussion in the committees, I did throw this out, and they didn't seem like they were against my proposition, that if they wanted that land and they were going to get it and add it to theirs, that because parking is, because it's locked on four sides, that they wouldn't, if they did acquire this land, that they wouldn't use it as part of a calculation to increase their density. So, I mean, that's still up in the air. They didn't promise it, but they were very open to that. And if the planning committee or planning commission and the purchasing agent says it doesn't have to go to bid, if it doesn't go to bid, I feel they should pay a premium. That's all. Thank you.
Further discussion? Mr. Hempstead.
I just have a couple questions. I'm sorry, Bruce. Sorry.
Would you come down, Mr. Shemento?
Question first about the existing on paper big court. Is that at this stage of the game considered a paper street that it really doesn't exist for any purpose?
Yes, it is.
Trust me, I know we'll live in it. I'll get our name by the end. All right, that's fine. The other parcel, the parcel says City of Milwaukee. I'm remiss because I'm trying to figure out location. Is this something that SNU used at one time? Southwark Electric Works, that corner piece, one time for equipment and all that. I remember at one time we wanted to do something with that parcel. I'm trying to figure out. The one on the corner that's still the City of Milwaukee, the way I understand, is still maintaining ownership of it.
That's correct, but I don't think it's even, I don't think it's buildable, and I don't think you could store anything on it because of the topography.
Was this parcel, it used to have like a little building on it at one point, long time ago?
I don't
think
remember
it's
that.
too far down.
I don't remember that.
I know the PAL, I'm sorry, I know PAL at one point was looking at, there was a remnant building, I thought a little bit further south.
That was on MLK, I believe. Down further on MLK,
Okay,
past Low Street.
May I make a suggestion?
Throwing me off there on the corner of, that's what's throwing me off there.
Excuse me.
That's correct.
Mr.
Point of order.
Mr. Igneri.
We've jumped to question 5, and I've only moved item 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I think it would be clearer if we went 3, 4, 5.
I was trying to do what Mr. Bonifant had suggested. It was-
Yeah, well, you're getting into more detailed questions, and I thought it would get too confusing.
Further discussion on item 3.
Item 3 is just acknowledging receipt of the application of abandonment.
Any further discussion on item 3, the acknowledgement of the application for the abandonment of Bates Court? No further discussion, all in favor? Unanimous, Mr. Igneri.
And I'm going to move item 4, make a motion, in part answers Mr. Bonifant's questions. Item 4 is to schedule a public hearing of necessity for the abandonment discontinuance of a portion of Bates Court beginning at the northwesterly boundary of the property located at 1 Bates Court, tax lot noted, and heading south to the southerly terminus as depicted on the map prepared by William W. Seymour and Associates, P.C., entitled Property Survey for Abandonment of a Portion, and this is all noted in item 3. For Department of Public Works for a fee of $14,400. The public hearing of necessity shall be conducted in order to hear all parties interested in commenting on the necessity of the proposed abandonment and take such action on said application for abandonment that the committee may deem advisable. The public hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, September 6, 2016 at 7 p.m. in room 231, second floor, Norwalk City Hall, 125 East Avenue, Norwalk, Connecticut.
Mr. Igneri has read the item. Did you wish to comment?
I would like to just comment that we first, in item 3, acknowledge receipt. Now we're scheduling a public hearing to go through many of the questions Mr. Bonifant had. Does it make sense to do this? Should we have contingencies, et cetera? So, and the committee will be appointed to do this. So with that, I open it up to questions.
The item has been moved. Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? I believe unanimous. Mr. Igneri, item number 7A5.
Okay. The motion is to refer the sale of the excess city-owned property. Now I'm going to go back again and say, refer the sale of the excess city-owned property located at 1 Bates Court, tax lot noted, as depicted on the map prepared by William W. Seymour and Associates, P.C., entitled Property Survey for the Abandonment of a Portion of Bates Court and Acquisition of Properties from the City of Norwalk prepared for Metropolitan Realty Associates, LLC, Norwalk, Connecticut, dated August 5th, 2015, at a scale of 1 inch equals 20 feet, on file in the Department of Public Works to Metropolitan Realty Associates, LLC, for a fee of $35,000 to the Planning Commission for a CGS 824 review. And I note that we are not asking for any action. We're referring this to Planning Commission. The DPW is not in a position to make decisions on sale of property. It's up to planning and zoning. So we've referred it to planning and zoning, and before any decisions are made on this, it will have to come back to the council.
Further discussion. Mr. Kites.
Mr. Igneri, I believe he wants to say $35,900, just clarification.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't read that.
I think he said $35,000.
Okay.
Mr. Sims.
Yeah, it's not so much of a question, it's just a comment. I just want to make sure that, on this parcel of land, that there isn't going to be any future proposals to build on that parcel. And is that a fact, or is that something that you foresee down the road, that they may come back with a proposal to build on that property?
I can't answer that on what they're going to do. This is a referral to the Planning Commission, so that they can review this.
I will note that Ms. Suchi, representing Metropolitan Realty Associates, is here. I don't know if you have any comments you'd like to make.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Liz Suchi. I'm an attorney with Carmody, Torrance, Sandeck, and Hennessy, and we represent Metropolitan Realty Associates. The only proposal at this time is to, number one, as you have adequately mentioned, we seek to have a portion of Bates Court abandoned. And then the other portion is to acquire a portion, all or a portion of that city-owned property, which is directly to the south of the parcel owned by my client. It intends to develop its portion, its property today, with multifamily residential, and we are working through our plans to bring that application forward to the city. We'd like to acquire, as I said, all or a portion of the property directly to the south so that we can control that, and it is not to be used toward density purposes, as Mr. Von Bonenfant asked, just so that we have that remnant piece that really doesn't serve anyone else, since it's bordered by Martin Luther King to the west, Low Street to the south, and Metro North Railroad tracks to the east. It would be to our benefit, and we think to the city's benefit, that that parcel, whether it's all of it or some of it, if the city decides to retain some ownership, would be maintained by us, and then it would serve a better purpose than it to be in the condition that has existed for many years.
Thank you. Further discussion or further questions? Mr. Bonifant.
Just briefly, I appreciate the time that the council went through this, that it went through the committee, but I wasn't sure that all council members knew exactly what was going on, and I felt like it was worth taking it off consent. That's all.
Thank you. Further discussion, Ms. Bowman.
And I think basically the concern is, we would like to know what will be going on that property. I did sit on the committee, and I believe I heard that there will not be any development there. It's mainly, like you said, just to control the environment. Now, will it be, I don't know, you may not know the answer to this question, is the intent to basically make it private property, closed off, like you can't even walk through it? Or is the intent to just kind of, be able to tell someone if they are doing something illegal to get off? And you may not know that answer, right?
The only way I can respond to that is if we acquire all of it, then it would be private property, and we would be able to do with it that which we please. If it is to be made into parkland or something like that, and associated with a neighboring development, that's one thing. There has been some discussion that perhaps the city might want some portion of it for its own uses, and if that's the case, that portion would remain city-owned property. But we intend to develop the piece that we have and to have this adjacent piece and leave it in a state that's better than the state it's in now. But as far as it being public property, if we were to acquire it, it would become private property.
And I think I heard someone allude to a piece of it leads directly into a building. So I think we probably just have to research that a little bit. A piece of that extra property leads directly into a building. And I don't know if we were thinking about the same exact location, but a piece of it may lead into another building, and I'm not sure.
I think the piece that is the city-owned, I don't believe there is any structure on the portion that's city-owned. The portion that we own does have a building on it that would be removed to make way for a new development. But I don't believe, and Mr. Chimento can correct me, I don't believe there's any structure on the city-owned piece that this parcel in any way, it needs to be maintained to keep that structure going or to keep it in any state of repair. It's vacant. And there is topographical challenges on either side of it, so that as I think it was, I don't know which member of the council, will have to forgive me, indicated that it would be difficult to develop that parcel with anything else. There had been some mention of some city uses, and those, I'm sure those are something that Mr. Chimento can speak to if in fact those are still under consideration.
Further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Hempstead.
I'm not going to make the motion.
Signary's job.
I just want to, I want to go on, I missed this. I want to compliment Director Chimento for something that I've probably been waiting about 13 years for, which was the breakdown of the customer service calls that they get to Public Works. I've been asking for this, I hope it morphs into even a better, more descriptive list, but I'm telling you, it's taken 13 years, several administrations, to at least get something where you at least got arms on. I wanted to hats off to volunteer with that. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just one more thing before Mr. Igneri. It was Mr. Hempstead's birthday yesterday. Yay. So I just wanted to say happy birthday.
Who did?
Happy birthday, old fella.
And I have some treats for everybody. Yay.
If we're gonna sing, put your mics up, please. Any further business to come before the council?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Igneri makes a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Good meeting. Well, I said if you sing, put the mics up. Nobody had to sing. Happy birthday, Doug.